Hello, welcome to Plutocracy, which is kind of like a Gilded Age simulator. To start off with, I know there's challenges and like you might be tempted to go and do it. However, there's only really one challenge, and it's easy, so I don't think it's worth it right now. So most of the people are gonna actually play the sandbox. Now, to start off with, you can pick your state, which I like to play Texas, and the reason why is if you play on Realistic World, which you can hover over the little arrow, it'll tell you exactly what it does. Um, if you change it, basically, if you change it to all, it has all the industries in there. I think depending on the state, it has different industries. So you see as I'm hovering over, and then these states will fill in as the year passes because obviously they're not states yet. Generally, this game is pretty easy, so what I would suggest is you change it to the hardest difficulty, or don't keep it on the easiest difficulty, because this game, once you know how to play it, is really not that hard. So yeah, this is what I do. Maybe charisma you could change. Yeah, charisma might be a thing to change, but really it's pretty easy, and I'll kind of guide you through. The next setting is the traits, and the first top two are basically up to your preference, but if you want to make it hard, you make yourself homosexual and university. Technically, uneducated is harder, however, it's not a fun hard because you can't run for office unless you pass a law, so it's a little bit trickier. So just pure difficulty, I think university is good enough. And then you make yourself atheist and nonpartisan. So basically what these do is if the characters don't match you, then it's more difficult to make a deal with you, and because most people are not these categories, then it's gonna be harder to make a deal with everybody, basically, right? And then the next one is just your appearance, which doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna quickly change my names to Sterling. I don't know, I just like the name Sterling. If he has black hair, it'll be BlackRock, fancy pants. But yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to the difficulty. Let's get in. Okay, now that we're in, we can look at a few things. So this is how much money you're burning or gaining per turn. This is the amount of money you have. This is your influence, which is kind of like how popular you are, with other people, and it's generally used for using special cards, which we can get to later. But the second thing is, or the main thing is, I guess, is certain people will have an influence level, and you have to be at least their level or higher to be able to interact with them and make deals or actually even use cards on them. And then renowned is basically just permanent influence. So if you have this, it increases your influence. And then experience points, we can get to it, but basically it just gives you certain bonuses, which we can get into a little bit later. So to start off with, basically, there's two ways to basically start. What you can do is you can look for a very profitable company and just get all the dividends that you can from that company, or you can day trade, or not day trade, month trade or whatever, right? So to start off with, basically what we want to do is we want to look for the most profitable company that's relatively big. So let's say 50 million plus, and it doesn't have a max dividend. The reason why we don't want to have a max dividend is because if it's like 95 or 100, if anything happens, like a strike or whatever, and the company needs money right away, then it's going to go bankrupt and you lose your entire investment. So generally, I would say try to stay 80 or below. Even 90 if it's a giant company is good, but like something like this, try to avoid it. Secondly, you want to get a bigger company, and the reason why is, let's say we click on this $3 million company, you see it's only owned by individual people, and first of all, on our difficulty level, we can't even make a deal because they have too much influence. But the bigger issue is that if you make a private deal at the very, very beginning, and even later on until you get some good levels up in, it's very, very expensive, and you'll be buying shares at double or triple the price, which is not good business, right? So instead, what you want to do is sort by profitability and find a decent sized company, such as maybe this one, and because it has a stock exchange, right? Which is good because you're able to buy and sell freely up to the amount that the stock exchange owns, so 26%. So if we take over 26%, then we'll be forced to buy from these guys privately, right? But for now, 26% is plenty, especially with a company this size, right? You're probably not going to get anywhere near that. If you click on that, it'll take us back to there. And this is the stock exchange page, right? So this is basically where you can buy private companies and also you can track them. So a few things that I like to do when I first start up the game is I change this to quarterly to give me a better idea of how the stock is moving. And the second thing is you change ownership to have shares. And with that, it'll allow us to see the shares that we only own, and if you don't do that, then then the shares that are bankrupt or companies that are bankrupt or have been taken over still show up, and it can cause a lot of clutter. Now, going to the second way that you can start and make money, this isn't the first turn thing, but what you can do is you can click on this to see what company fell the most and then buy it. So in this case, actually it's not too bad because we see this dip. We can buy it, and then next turn it should hopefully swing back up. We sell it. We sell about half or 2/3 of our position, and then buy and sell and keep on going up and down. Or you can just go in a bunch of companies and diversify by using this filtering tool. I would recommend you do that technique with oil companies and with transport companies, and the reason why is they're very cyclical, so you're much more likely to actually make a profit versus other companies. If they're going down, it's a lot harder to it's a lot harder to guess if they're going to go up and down, right? Like this company, if it's a steel company, it might go up, then you sell a bunch because you think it's at the top and it continues going up, and even if it dips, you end up buying at a higher price point than what you sold, right? Which isn't good business. So the way I generally like to start is this whole profitability thing and just collect the dividends. So we just want to click on it and then see what company is public. To be honest, let's just go to here. It's not the most profitable, but first of all, this has a really good tech level, 54%, which is one of the higher ones here. And it has a lot of room for the dividend to increase, which is very, very nice, because you can buy it in at a certain price, and then if you increase the dividend, it'll increase even more. So before we just jump in and buy it, you want to unpause and keep it on 1% or 1x to see what's the best price you can get, such as that. And now you can buy in, and now that you're in, we're technically broke, but we're making a decent chunk of money. So now that you own the company, you can go into the statistics and you can mess with these things. And if you own less than 51%, then you have to put it up to a vote. If you own more than 51%, you can just push it through. However, when you have a vote, if people don't agree with you, then and you push the vote through, or you try to propose a vote, they won't like you, right? So your first company, make sure it has a decent amount of public shares on the stock exchange, because you're gonna try to squeeze as much money as you can from here, and these people are not gonna like it, so it will be very, very difficult to buy more shares from them. If this was only like 1 or 2%, I would say, well, it isn't really worth it because you're gonna buy the shares way too fast and then you're shit out of luck, right? But in this case, 26% is quite a bit. So we can go in and we can increase the work plan to 120%. And if you look here, so 454, once we do this, it increases it by 300, and then we can also increase this to 75. And so we basically went from, I don't remember, like 600, 300, whatever it was, to a lot more. And if we click on this, this is now returning 6.47%, which isn't the most. Sometimes I'm getting 12, 13, 15% at the beginning, but every bit counts. So now that we have our first company, we can go click to next event, and then just let the day run. Okay. Thank you for joining me. This is it for this episode. I just wanted to go through the first turn and kind of let you know how what's a good start. Next episode or next guide, I'm gonna be going a little bit deeper into it and dealing with loans and stuff like that. Thank you.